If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. You feel me them? I'm Quindell Evans, bluepoetry.com. Blue is the color of dream, imagination, everything in between. Poet is the orator inscribed with the power to open the eye. Tree is the seed that branches off and leaves and grows wherever it goes. Bluepoetry.com. B's up for the blue. Let's go. You feel me? So right now I got my sister, you feel me? Aviola, you feel me? And we tonight we gonna talk about vulnerability. You feel me? Because it's important to be vulnerable first of all. And sometimes, vulnerability can be seen as a weakness, but it's not always is. A lot of times vulnerability is a strength, but there are times when it's not. So tonight we're gonna talk about the times when it's not. You feel me? Them? Vulnerability is the topic of the convo, and let's introduce the guest. You feel me? Abiola, you want to say a few words about yourself? Introduce yourself. Tell people a little bit about what you do, and then get into the topic. Like, you do the honors to start the topic off.
Greetings. I am Abiola, also known as Musician Law, and I'm a writer as well as a poet. And I love communications. That's something that I've been working on, researching on for years, over a decade, even going to school for it. And I feel like there's many types of communication, and that goes back into the topic of vulnerability and just opening up, and how much to open up, how little to open up, when to open up, and when to stop sharing. So that's what we're going to get into.
Okay.
Yeah. And talking about the throat chakra when it comes to just expression and how much you express, I feel like personally, you know, that's something that I'm still working on a balance for, because I have a lot of great things to say, but sometimes it's about when to say it or if the person's ready to hear it and how to say it. So one of the main things about that I want Quindell to elaborate more on because he's talked about it too.
All right. So first off, we're talking about vulnerability in the sense of expressing, in the sense of spirit. Talking about vulnerability in the sense of energy. Um, I don't know. I've run into a lot of people who be talking all this. You gotta watch out for energy vampires and different type of energies. Watch out certain people ain't got good intentions and da 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 da. You feel me? And that is pretty normal, in the spiritual aspect. That's pretty normal. You feel me? You gotta be cognizant and aware of the energies that's around you. It's good to be aware. The thing is, tend to we tend to we tend to overlook why we're feeling this way. What is the cause? Why would we feel like, oh, watch out for these people and vampires? And why are we, you feel me? What makes us vulnerable in this way? What makes us feel unprotected? Why are we not divinely protected? Why do I feel, why do I not feel that I am divinely protected? Why do I not feel like the ancestors are with me? I don't have to worry about no vampires and people and their energies. They can't ruin my alignment. They can't throw me off balance. Why am I not working with that consciousness? That is the question. So what is it that you feel is holding you back from walking with that consciousness? You're divinely protected. Any vampires can't bother you, or they're not even out there, or nobody can throw you off balance. Like, why do what is it that blocks you from feeling like you can go anywhere you want to be around any type of people and feel protected and get your way?
From experience, again, pulling, I would say doubt. and fear, or the illusion of fear, is always what allows us to express things that we might not be ready to express. I feel like when I go into a room and I feel confident, it's because I don't have that doubt for that moment. And then whenever I get into that mode where I'm having doubts, that's when you start to weaken yourself and you start to feel like there's an attack on you, from quote unquote energy vampires, where more so it might just be a personal attack on yourself, as you're seeing the world. So, in a nutshell, it's very interesting how, we are the masters of our mind, and when you do master your mind, then you're not a slave to it. And when you don't master your mind, you do see how you become a slave to it, which is from actions and reactions that you have to deal with. With communication, again, it pairs, and it's a beautiful thing when you really think about it and when you understand where it comes from, because then it helps you understand where to go next. And I think that reminder to self every day, through affirmations and like exercises and practice, is really what helps us shield ourselves from any kind of doubt or vulnerability, which might make us leak, through the throat chakra. Again, coming from experience, because I've had times where I practiced heavily and I was on point, and then when I didn't practice heavily, I'm fumbling here and there, and I'm trying to figure out why. And then, sometimes you get so deep into that fumble that you start to believe it, you start to live it, start to make excuses for it, until you meet someone that's really awesome, that helps to clarify it again. And they're like, listen, it's all about you, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about you, and it's all about how you communicate with others as well, how we come together. Um, so one of the things you said was leak. So I got into a car accident in the summer, and something was leaking in my car. And while the car was leaking, you're advised not to drive. Like, you understand? Like, you never know what can happen when your car has a leak. You drive on your own, at your own risk, and if the engine overheats and stops in the middle of nowhere, you're stranded. You know, um, the moral of the story though, like personally, like I drove the car till the wheels fell off. I don't know. I drove and there was nothing left to leak out of my. But the whole point is, while I was limited to how far I can drive, because I knew I can't drive. My homies upstate. Not this weekend. I can't go to Albany. My car got this leak. You feel me? I could drive from Bronx to Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I could stay local. I could stay. So when my car was leaking, I was limited to how far I could drive. I could limit it to where I can go. Driving is the car's form of expression. When you have a leak, it's limited. It limits how you can express yourself. I don't want to be around these type of people. I don't want to go here. So the whole point is we have to understand the cause of vulnerability. You feel me? Not just vulnerability as in, people's vulnerable out there, but why? Maybe they're leaking. Maybe that's why. Maybe they are leaking, and why are they leaking? Because they probably had a little accident. You feel me? I had an accident, leak, limitation. You have a accident, you're leaking blood, limitation. You get stabbed, don't run. You're going to pass out and die. Sit, relax. You have to limit where you can move right now in order to survive. And then you can't do too much until you heal. Keyword and key phrase until you heal. The key part of the sentence is until you heal. So a lot of us are not healing, and we're still trying to go around and be like, well, I met a guy and he doesn't want me as I am. Like, nigga. Like, I met a girl and she doesn't want me. Like, nigga. I realized that. Like, I didn't. Like, I remember I was with a girl one night and I was like, I fucked that up. I realized that shit. Talk about my ex. I fucked the whole shit up. I've been there. So I'm like, it's I was leaking my ex, and she like, nah, not on me. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, that's nuts.
And it limited what me and her could do because I was inviting someone else's energy into the situation. So a lot of times we're leaking past trauma. We're leaking energy from the past into life right now. Yeah, we're leaking we're leaking energy into the what's good. You heard? We're leaking energy into the from the past into the present right now. Pardon us right now. Things is going on in the background. We got to situate the situation, but we good. Thank you. Oh, good though. Good though. Um, yeah. But yeah. So a lot of times we're leaking, and what that means is we're like just giving energy all day, like some chat, or just like just so free with our energy. And a lot of times in the spiritual, in the spiritual communities, you see a lot of people who's like so free, so just leaky with the energy, because a lot of us are healing and we're not done. And in the process, we're like kind of delaying it by leaking. We're not patching it, but it kind of feels good in a way to run away from responsibility, and not necessarily. Sometimes it's running away from responsibility. Sometimes it feels good to share the story, like the story. The story is still cool to tell, and that's the thing. A lot of times we're like it's like watching a good movie like Scarface. You ever seen Scarface?
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you see it.
Once.
What's the movie you watched more than once?
I've seen Titanic more than once.
Okay, Titanic. You seen Titanic more than once. Titanic is a tragedy. Like that was kind of fucked up. But the whole point is you watched it 3, 4, 5 times. So the whole point is like you're replaying a negative story in your mind over and over again. That's what we do with our lives. So it's kind of cool, like to share negative stories. Yeah, it's kind of cool. To tell that story, like, nah, and this nigga did this. You believe that? It sounds cool to continue telling the story until you're ready to write another fucking movie, bruh. Like, you're a director. You can write your own movie in life. This is you. Like, you feel me? Like, Spike Lee, all his movies aren't the same. Like, you feel me? So he has stories to tell. So, like, that's the thing. Like, you have, like, that was a movie. You want a part 2 that gets better? It's on you. Right. But if you continue telling the story, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to focus on a new story. So the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, before I pass the mic back to Abiola, is what can we do about these leakages? Why are we leaking? Why are we vulnerable? We're vulnerable probably because we're leaking, and now we're like, we kind of feel that we are leaking, but we don't know how to say that. Like we don't walk around like I'm leaking, but we kind of feel a sensitivity to our energy because it is so free. So we're like, I can't be around these type of people, because, and we call it vulnerability, or people let me do what I want, kind of. But what the thing is, like, what I want to know is, for a lot of us, how much of it is I don't know, like, I don't want to be like pessimistic, but like, how much of it is like real? Like, how much of it is like able to be actually healed? Like, like, because some people might have relived the story so much, they're like deep in it too much. Like, if it's some shit that started at when you were 21 and you're 23, it's like, oh, that's some brand new shit. Yeah. You can figure that out. But if it's some shit that happened when you was when it was 10, 15 years ago, and then you didn't had extra events on top of that that just triple stacked it, you might have more healing to do. Like, so like sometimes it's deep. Sometimes we just continue to hurt ourselves over and over. We get used to it. So like, what is a way for us to begin to tell new stories, to open up to something new? Like, how do we begin to change the narrative? Like, it's on you to wake up today and talk about something new, like totally new. Like, I'm not gonna say, what I'm not gonna say is, oh, uh, my. What I'm not gonna say is, when I chill with a girl, oh, let me not say nothing about my ex because I said something about my ex before, and I'm not gonna you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hold that above myself. I'm gonna just go in it new. Like, I'm gonna just flow with it. You feel me? But I know deep down I'm not gonna say nothing about my ex. But the whole point is, I'm not gonna actually say that out my mouth. Like, listen, I want to talk about my ex right now, but I don't think I should. But I might if I need to. It's like, it's whatever. Like, all I'm trying to say is, I've been in a situation where I talked about my ex and I ruined the night with this joint, and she was fire, boy. And I realized that after, like, I'm like, damn, she wanted me, and I fucked it up. And then she hit me with the interview. We'll get back to you later, kind of. With the, we'll give you a call. Like, hit me with the give you a call energy, and I'm like, oh, I fucked that up. I shouldn't have. Damn, cause. So like, the thing is like, I won't let that happen again because I've learned from it, and I'm not gonna do it again. And now I'm focused on something else. For me, I'm not gonna leak that on. I leaked that on the one. That's enough. Like, I'm not gonna fuck up all the pussy.
Looking at it in the long run.
Yeah, no. I'm looking like I can meet my woman of my dreams, and I'm still mad at my ex. I was mad at my ex that day. I remember. I'm like, not this bitch. And then I just happened to have that conversation with this new girl, and it was just like, and something just came up. The comments, like, something came up, and I said that, and then it was just like, and I saw the energy shift, but I ain't think nothing of it. And then it was, by the time I realized it was over, by the time I realized it was like, and it, you know what I'm saying? Like, she hit me with the I'll call you later. We'll get back to you energy. She was, I don't know, it's whatever. We'll see. Maybe.
But yes, I think that's a very great tale, interesting tale. We've all been there. Mouth vomiting, our thoughts and feelings. I feel like I've been there too. But when it comes to that, definitely expression. And, I feel like in our lives, there'll be people that are there to listen more than others. Depends on their roles. A lot of people would like to feel, like, for example, with your situation, they just want to feel like they're spoken to only and no one else is part of it. Because some people do not like talking about people, and some people don't mind talking about people. The main goal, though, is to definitely stay in the present and pay attention to the shit around you that's present, the people around you present, the situations. I would say one of the main things about expression and vulnerability, back to opening up too much, is similar to a wound. When you are injured or you have a scab, and it just feels so good to itch it or peel it, and then it prolongs it, it makes it leak again, perhaps, like the blood comes out, metaphorically, literally, everything is connected. And I feel like with the way you have to let wounds heal, by leaving it alone and just moisturizing it, that's what we need to do with our minds, our body, and our souls. It sounds easier said than done, because sometimes that wound itches, sometimes that wound is taking your attention in that moment, and you just want to, like, ask for help, cry out for help. Hence the throat chakra, being, you know, I guess shaky or just overactive or unbalanced. There's so many words for these different situations that happens in human lives, but the fun part about it is if you're cognizant enough, then you're able to pinpoint it, realize it, fix it, and continue to fix it, because that's what the human experience is here for. We have, as long as you don't die, you have many chances to redo and relive and get forgiveness for what you did, because when you go out of the shell, you're in another time zone, you're in another mind, another dimension, you're in another level, that whatever you took with you, I believe that's what you're going to continue going into. But just rewinding back and going back into the main topic of blockages and leakages and vulnerability through the throat chakra, because it's a spiritual experience that manifests itself into the physical, and connects mentally with everyone. Um, you know, Again, shielding ourselves, I believe that shielding yourself has to do with having that mind power and perfecting the mind power of self, of being unshakable to everything, even energy vampire, being like the Buddhas who are unshakable to fire. That level of mind strength and mentality strength, mental strength is just amazing. And if one human could do it, I believe that others could too. And the great advice that I've taken myself is just continue mantras all 2020 and good positive affirmations, and just understanding yourself and asking consent whenever you're speaking to someone, or whenever you want to, you know, indulge or divulge in your personal lives, because at the end of the day, when you're communicating, it takes two, and both have to be open, and both have to agree on what they're talking about. Because if one person just has a run-on sentence, then the other gets lost, and they feel as though it's all about that other person. So meditation is a great thing to do. We were just talking about that. Certain things to healing your throat chakra is like the downward facing dog and the upward facing dog. A few other stretches and some hymns, some frequency based music. I'm all about solutions. So anytime I find a problem, even if it's with myself, I'm like, let's get to it. Let's dive deep. Let's talk about what the main issue is and how we could heal. So I definitely would love to pass it along and have you conclude this, or, continue what you have to talk about.
No doubt. I think we hit every mark. Um, I want to leave you out with some jewels though. So when it comes to the throat chakra being blocked, one sound that you can say is hang, like HANG, like hang, but hang. Or you can, instead of the N and G, you can use the M, so it'll be like hum. You want to like hold the M or hold the NG for a little while. Give yourself some time. So like, for example, hum, or hang. You feel me? So like, and that balances the throat chakra. So every chakra has a sound, and that's the throat chakra's sound to help balance it out. So if you know someone, or if you are someone, that is the sound to help heal the chakra. If you are someone who needs balancing in the throat chakra, like you feel like you have a lump in your throat sometimes, you feel like you want to express yourself but you can't sometimes, to certain people who you feel like you should be able to express yourself to. If you feel like you talk too much uncontrollably. You might know somebody who like, when I have conversations, when I start rolling, I'm rolling. It's hard to stop me. But when I'm not gonna just share some stuff, yo, you heard about this, and then just start talking about it without your consent. But I feel like a lot of times we develop those habits when our throat chakra becomes imbalanced. You know, and saying the sound hung or hum helps balance your throat chakra. So you can say the sound just throughout the day whenever you want. You can say the sounds meditating. So you can sit, do your breathing exercises, and say the sounds in between breaths. You can say the sound hum between doing affirmations. You can say the sound hum while you exercising, doing yoga, stretching. When you reading, just sitting, reading silently and humming or hanging, whatever. So hum is the healing sound. You feel me? For the throat chakra. And if you have an imbalance or want to balance your throat chakra, even if you don't have an imbalance and you just want to keep your throat chakra maintained and balanced, hum and hung, you can repeat those sounds. Another thing you can do is say affirmations. And a lot of times we overlook or underestimate the power of affirmations and how it can manifest things. So let's say you have throat chakra issues, you can say affirmations such as, I am balanced in my throat chakra. I am balancing my expression. And one key thing too, while I thought of it, the throat chakra isn't just about expression. It isn't just about talking. The element of the throat chakra is sound. So it's not just about sharing sound, it's also about receiving sound. So that means be balanced in how you express yourself, but be understanding. The throat chakra is a lot about understanding. It's as much about understanding others it is as much about understanding as it is about expressing yourself. So understanding others goes hand in hand to expressing yourself. It's yin and yang. Understanding others and expressing yourself. So the throat chakra isn't just about expressing yourself. A lot of times we're so focused on the fact that we can express ourselves the way we want to, that we're not even open to others. We're like, it's about me. I don't care what you have to say. It's like, it's like an argument. It's like you just in an argument all day. You feel me? Like that's like the negative effects of your throat chakra being blocked. It's like you're in an argument all day. So like you talking to somebody, and you know how when you're in an argument and you kind of gotta win your point of view, and it don't really matter what they say. Like it don't, because it's an argument. So it's like whatever you say is gonna go back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about, I'm gonna win this argument. So like it's kind of like that when you're talking to somebody. We're kind of not even listening or worried about them being there. We're just talking. So, it doesn't matter if you heard me or not. At least I get to say it, like kind of shit. And that's not cool. Like, I kind of want you to actually fucking listen to me and really understand me. Like, I'm not thinking that, like, this person is not gonna, like, I'm gonna be like, remember that shit I said about the throat chakra, and I'm expecting you to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying this shit for nothing right now. But the throat chakra being blocked or, imbalanced, you be saying shit for nothing, you don't even care. It's just like, at least I get to talk to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and nigga, you be knowing, you be looking at a nigga not listening to you, you just continue talking. So like, the thing is, we have to focus on being aware of how we're communicating, but also focused on how the person is understanding us. We also have to focus on how we're understanding others. Like, how we're affecting someone, what's the state of the person, you know? If I want to have a serious conversation with you, I have to think about your state of mind in the moment. What if something's going on in your life at that time? What if you what if you're in a rush? What if like what if you're at work? What if you're at home? What if you just woke up? What if you about to go to sleep? What if you eating? What if you just got out of the shower? Whatever. What if you are ready to talk? I have to consider it. I just can't just expect you to always be ready to hear me out. So I'm only expecting you because it's my podcast and we having this conversation. You my guest. But other than that, I'm not just gonna, expect you to want to hear everything I have to say about this topic. So we can't go about life expecting everybody to be our audience without consent. So when we do that, when we do express ourselves without consent, we have to understand it, like understand what that means. It's not like never express yourself without consent, but it's just like understanding what it is. Like we can't expect, there's a different expectation with that. There's something different that comes with that, So, and then sometimes you might have to express yourself without consent. We're talking about leakingly and negative effects of leakingly just expressing yourself without consent and expecting everyone to be your audience, in a leaking way. Not controllably like, oh, I decided to do it today and that's balance when you can decide it. I think it's uncontrollably when you're leaking. I couldn't drive because my car would leak no matter where I went. So a lot of times we feel like, well, because I have a mechanic in my car, it won't leak. Like, nah. And then we expect somebody to fix the car for us. Like, somebody going to fix my car. I'm going to meet somebody that's going to help me stop leaking. No one's going to help your throat chakra. It's your chakra. You feel me? Like, you're going to help your chakra. You're going to help your chakra. And then you might run into somebody who's going to back you up, who's going to be on your side, who's going to be ready to support you. But if you're not ready to help your throat chakra, ain't nobody going to come and help your throat chakra for you because it don't work like that. You feel me? Ain't no throat chakra mechanic. We can't go there. It's on you. Feel me? So affirmations, hums, meditation, self-love, self-caring, understanding, self-expression, balance. The only reason you're feeling vulnerable because you're leaking. Because you got to leak. So I know I got to leak. I'm vulnerable on the road. Like, I ain't got no time for no accidents. I ain't got no time for no crazy turns. I'm relaxed in this car. I'm not running no lights. Because you feel me? Because I ain't getting stopped in the car leaking. So stuff like that, you feel me? And everything is about, everything is about balance. Balance. Everything is about balance. A balanced expression. And it's on us. Our limitations are ours. We create our limitations. So if there are people you feel like you can't be around, it's because you have limitations. So if you want to unleash your limitations, you might have to organize yourself in a certain way, whether it be in a healing way or whether it be in a recreational way, in some way. So most of the time it's healing. You got to heal part of yourself. Let go of that past thing. Don't bring that over here, leaking that into the situation. And I've been there. Like I said, I told you what happened earlier. I don't want to talk about it no more. All right, so if you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn education. I'm Quindell Evans, bluepoetry.com. It's the Blue Poetry Podcast. We had Abiola on here. We talking vulnerability, throat chakra, blockages. I'm at Word Up Cafe every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 9:30 in Brooklyn, hosting an open mic. Come through, sign up, or watch me perform. Get litty. You feel me? Them.
Word.
Sign up. If you're a poet, you a dancer, you a singer, you a rapper. We got the aux. We gonna pass it to you. We getting litty. Eat some food when you get there. Chill, relax. We asking for a $5 donation. It's a black-owned business. But come if you're broke. We still want your energy. But bring $5 though if you're broke. Bring your last $5. Bring it in change, quarters. Bring a bag of pennies. We don't care. Just come through. Bring a bag of pennies. Bring 500 pennies. Feel me? Bring the $5. Or donate something if you ain't got it, but have it. You saying ain't, man? Have it though. All right, so yeah, let's go.